In this video, I'll discuss about the tuples in Python. Tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable, and they are written with round brackets. Example, vehicles is a tuple object which has been assigned 3 items. Since these items are of string data type, it has been included within double quotes and separated. Each item is separated here using a comma. And the items can be accessed by referring to the index number, which is specified inside square brackets. Index here is for the first item in the tuple, the index will be 0, and the next item will have index 1, and so on. If we access the items from the end, negative index is used in that case. So in that case, lorry is the last item in the tuple, so it will have the index -1, and the next second item from the last will have index -2, and bus will have the index negative index as -3. Multiple tuple items can also be accessed using range of indexes. More details about this, about the information in this slide, have been included in the video data types in Python. You can refer to that video to know more about accessing items of the uh, tuple and how to use a range of indexes. Here I'll be discussing little more details about tuples. First, we'll see how to create tuples using tuple constructor, that is done using tuple within two round brackets give the items separated by comma. As you can see, the subjects tuple has been created with 3 subjects, and when I type the object name, it displays the tuple. If a tuple is created with only one item, then add a comma after the item. Otherwise, Python will not recognize it as a tuple. It will be recognizing it as a string only if you don't add a comma after the item. As in this first example, subjects here includes only one item in the tuple. So, I have included a comma to specify that is it is a tuple. And when I display subjects, it displays history with comma within square, round brackets, so which means it is a tuple. And if you give type of to know the type of the object created, it displays it as class tuple. Whereas if I don't give the no comma is used, so treated as string. As you can see, when I give subjects, it gives the output as history without any rounded brackets and a comma. And type of subjects, when I give it, it displays the type of the object as string. These are the other ways of creating tuples. Next, we'll discuss about the operations in the operations that can be done over tuples. As tuples are immutable or unchangeable, we cannot add new items to the tuple, and no items can be removed from the tuple also. This too cannot be done since it is unchangeable. In order to find the length of tuple, as in the previous cases, that is collection data types, here also we use the len function. The number of items in a tuple can be found using len function. Len of within brackets give the tuple name. As in this example, vehicles is a tuple created with the car, bus and bike, and when I give len of vehicles, it gives the output as 3, since there are 3 items in the tuple. Next is how to join two tuples. They can be joined using plus operator. In this example, first example, I have created a tuple vehi with 2 items, and vehicles is another tuple creator already, as mentioned in the previous slides, and it has three items: car, bus, and bike. And these two tuples I'm going to join them using the plus operator. As you can see, when I add them both, it creates a new tuple with all the five items. This is another example where I have added three tuples. That is also is possible. And this, as I said before, when you join them, it will create a new tuple. And so, in order to show that I have assigned to P, that is a new tuple formed by joining these three tuples. Vehicles and vehicle 2 have been joined. After joining, as you can see, it displays this tuple. Next, how to delete a tuple. You can delete a tuple using del statement or del keyword. That is del, just give the tuple name. As you can see here, del, I'm deleting here vehi tuple, and then when I give vehi, since we have deleted it, it shows it as an error, that is name vehi is not defined. Next is about the count method, and count as a parameter which is value, that is it counts the specified value in the tuple. That is number of occurrences is counted here. The parameter value specifies the item to search for. It returns the number of times a specified value occurs in a tuple. And the syntax is tuple object name dot count within brackets give the value to be search for. For example, this is a num is the tuple created with numbers, and here I search for 12 using count, and that will return the number of times this particular item occurs in the tuple, and 12 here occurs 1, 2, 3 times, so it gives output as 3. Next is index method, which also has the parameter value. It finds the first occurrence of the specified value, and the syntax is tuple or object name dot index within brackets the value. As you can see, the created num list is as these values, and I here search for, that is num dot index of 45, so it returns the index of the item 45, which is 12. Here the first item has 0 index, index 1, index 2, index 3, and 45 as index 4, so it returns as output 4. Next is using in and not in operators. In operator is used to check whether an item exists in a tuple, and it returns true if the item is present. It returns false if it is not present. Not in operator is used to check whether an item does not exist in a tuple. It returns true if item is not present, and returns false if item is present. As you can see in the example, num is the tuple created, and here I search for 12 in the tuple num. Since 12 is available in the tuple, it returns true. And when I give 12 not in num, so this will return true only if 12 is not present in the tuple. Since 12 is present in the tuple, it returns false. Whereas if I give 100 not in num, since 100 is not there in the tuple, it will return it as true. Next, how to iterate through the tuple items. That is done using for loop. Num is the tuple created in order to print all the items in the tuple. I'm using here print statement and for loop. In the for loop, I mention the variable name in tuple name. So each time it will take an item from the tuple and assign it to I, and when I print it, as you can see, it prints it. It has been printed on the single line because end parameter has been assigned space. That's why it's printing the outputs on the same line. That's all about the operations, basic operations that can be performed over tuple. Thank you.